So, you've picked up a cheap used car. Good for you. As someone who has a few of those myself, I applaud your decision to go this route. Oh, what's that? Oh, you think the entire ownership experience is going to be cheap too? Oh, you sweet summer child. This really depends on what you've purchased, because cheap to buy definitely doesn't translate to cheap to own for certain makes and models. Don't freak out. Here's a basic thing to remember about cheap used cars. If your car was originally relatively inexpensive to begin with, you're probably in luck. As long as it was mass-produced and generally considered reliable, you're in good shape. Parts are cheap, labor is average, and you should basically just need consumables like oil, tires, brakes, etc.
Research your parts prices.
Sure, some cheap cars still have expensive problems, but they're still manageable in the grand scheme of used car ownership. For example, older Civics might enjoy munching on some head gaskets. That could turn your cheap car into not that. But if you've gone a different direction, say you bought an aging luxury car or sports car, well, we have a very different conversation for you. If the car was at one time an expensive thing, the parts for it still are. For some reason, those don't depreciate in value like the vehicle itself.
Know the design quirks.
This old Jaguar behind me, the rear brakes are mounted inboard, not on the hubs like most every other vehicle. That means the labor for a simple brake job is massively more expensive.
Research the reliability.
My Montero parked outside, it cost me $3,500 to buy it. What a great deal, right? It was, until I discovered it was running on 5 out of 6 cylinders and a valve was slightly bent. The entire head needed to come off and be machined. I can tell you that my $3,500 Montero is anything but. I have a spreadsheet with everything I've spent on it, and it makes me want to puke. A little actually just came up, I'm sorry. But I tell you this not to dissuade you from cheap car ownership. In fact, both of those old cars I have are a blast to drive, to work on, and just to look at. If you're gonna buy a cheap used car, do the research to figure out some worst case scenario fixes that could arise. If you've got the stomach for a certain threshold and it fits in your financial space, make it happen and have fun.